Hello everybody. So today's topic is a risk management. We'll talk about risk management and its four main components. To fully understand and successfully implement this risk management framework, one must have a complete understanding of how the organization multi-tiered risk management process is structured and used. So let's talk about components of risk management. Effective risk management is composed of four basic components, which are framing the risk, and that's really important, the assessing the risk and responding the risk and monitoring the risk, and each components are interrelated and lines of communication go between them. The output from one component become the input to another component. That's why all these components are really important to each other. Risk management, this is a process that must be ingrained across the entire organization, involving information system owners and all these other people like developers, engineers and administrators at the tactical level, or even managers who view the risk at the strategic level as it impacts the entire organization. So the leaders in the company, they define the environment in which risk-based decisions are made and set the risk management process on a framework. This is how they follow the risk management strategies. So talking about the first component, which is framing the risk, it's really important. It's a top down approach. When we ask what goes on around here every day that we need to fix or monitor. Going through this risk assessment methodology and supporting activities can produce meaningful results in context with what their business actually does on everyday basis. So this approach will help us to uncover things that are critical to helping to secure their environment. Few things to keep in mind, like application. So we will identify critical application and application that are also critical, and the data. So this is where we learn the data being passed around between departments, system and third parties, and then vendors. We can scan the network to figure out who are they talking to, but this process is just revealing for vendors as it is for the application. And the second component is risk assessment, which aims to draw a risk picture for the organization. This includes threat directed at the organization, the internal and external vulnerabilities the organization faces, and the harm that will come to the organization if a threat exploits a given vulnerability. We all know that also the risk assessment result that can drive changes to other components of the risk management process, since all these components are connected with each other. Talking about response, the risk response, it serves to provide an organization-wide consistent response that address the risk frame, which includes developing the courses of action, evaluating alternative course of action, or determining the appropriate course of action, or implementing the risk response based on the selection. At last, monitoring the risk, which is the final component of risk management, and it helps us to determine how the organization monitors risk over time. This component validates that the risk program has implemented the planned risk response and that information security plans. They are derived from traceable mission or business functions. This monitoring the risk also determine the effectiveness of ongoing risk response problems, and determine also identify changes in the environment that will impact the risk profile of any organization that can be modified as needed. So these changes initiate updates to the organization's risk assessment or risk response and risk frame components. So that's all for today.